All right, so let's talk the closeout. All right, last video I posted that this top one standard deviation here on the weekly chart to the right, daily to the left, has been sustained in the market, and a lot of buyers are very interested at that support level. As you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now 7 times we've bounced off the weekly charts. Top one standard deviation, which has been holding the price action quite thoroughly. So moving forward, where do we see the market going? All right. Now this didn't necessarily close in the red. I mean, the week didn't necessarily close out in the green and or teal as I have it, but it did close out in the red. Um, but we did see some end of week buying on Thursday and Friday, like I said in the last video. So just moving forward, all right, sliding that weekly chart out of the way, putting the daily to the right, 2-hour chart to the left. We'll look at this from a micro perspective. The daily is set up for a big move going into next week. Next week, we will get a huge move. Now, whether that's to the downside or the upside, I can't yet call it. All right. And the reason I say that is you can see we are at one of the lowest points of consolidation that we've been in quite some time, right? If I mark this low point that we're sitting at, the last time we were sitting at this low was back in earlier this year, January of 21. All right. So you can see the bands are tightly constricting around the price action. And again, the volatility moves in cycles. So where there's low volatility, i.e. consolidation, there's high volatility that will soon follow. So next week will be a big week, whether that is to the upside or downside. Now, what would make me a believer is that we'll get to the upside is if we get above this 418 level, which is that top one standard deviation Bollinger Band. Again, that'll put us back in a setup to continue an uptrend and then break back out to the upside to start the next leg up, kind of like what we did on that last go round back at end of March, on March 25th, when we got that dip and then we broke out to the upside and we started another run up to create a higher high. So there's the potential for that to happen. What we may see going into next week, and it is possible, we may start next week off creating a lower low of that week before we see that run up. You could see the price action pull back here to retest the 410 to 411 level, which I talked about. We need to break above that bottom one standard deviation on 2-hour chart, which we did. It took us 1, 2, and then finally on that third try, we broke through and then pulled back to retest it 4, and then we gapped up. So there's a possibility that we could pull back to this 410, 411 level to give it one more retest before we do break out to the upside. Now, if we fail that 410 level, that would give me some concern because then we could possibly come back down to that 405 level where you see the bottom two standard deviation Bollinger Band adjusting right now based on the price action to match that low to where we may come down and create a double bottom pattern and then break out to the upside where we get this W pattern, which I love to trade. W patterns, also known as double bottoms. But we will see. Again, 410, 405 are key levels. If we go into next week and we fail either of these two levels, then that's when we could see the breakdown. As you can see, that 405 correlates with that last level of support on the daily chart. If we break through that level, then that could send us down here back to these lows. Okay. And I know a lot of people don't want to see that. I know a lot of people want to go long in the market. Okay. So we could see, we'll see what happens. Just some news I've been reading. They put out the new CDC guidance that, vaccinated people no longer need to wear masks, which will cause more states to reopen, which leads to more consumer activity, which could possibly help the market as far as the consumer discretionary section of the S&P 500. But there's also concerns that going forward, the stimulus checks that the feds passed out to the American people could be drying up, and that could also restrict some spending. Not only to include that inflation is affecting the market with everyday prices going up as far as milk, and then you got the situation with the pipeline as far as gas, and that's causing gas prices to go up. So that could limit a lot of spending. So we're kind of in this mutual area of decision of who's going to take control of the bulls or the bear, which is why we're sitting in a tight consolidation pattern. So I would just kind of play it safe and wait to see what happens. All right. 2-hour chart is still set up in that downward pattern. It is consolidating above that zero line. So we're still in the green. We would like to see this lay flat going into next week and kind of consolidate between that 420 and 410 level. Let the price action just kind of build a base here and then break out to the upside. And that will definitely put the bulls back in control. But again, we will see what happens. I'm currently not long. I did take this short back at the 418 level. Well, Apple, of course, here we'll go to Apple. Apple moves the same as the ticker SPY for the most part. So I did take it Apple short here at the 130 level. And we did take this one all the way down. Now, me knowing that we was hitting a key support level, I did go short right here, right at that 122 level on Apple, knowing we were sitting on that key support level on the SPY, and I didn't close my position out. So that following day we gapped up, and I had to hurry up close that position out. But I did switch from puts to calls and rode that level back up to where we are at now, switching back over to the SPYs where I took the calls here as we broke through that level the following day and just rode this back up from 409 to 416 and closed out my position and recovered everything that I took a hit on plus some. So right now I'm all cash, just kind of waiting to see how the market opens up on Monday. I'm not sure what type of news will come out over the weekend, but next week will be a big week. Again, know that 410 and 405 are your key support levels. And if we can get above that 418, 419, 420, that 418 to 420 level, that would definitely set the chart up to go into a uptrend. So key levels of support and resistance to watch going into next week. As I get more information and see intraday charts develop that pour over into the daily chart, I will be sure to follow up with updates. But till next time, TTM Trades, I'm out.